The independent electricity system operator is recommending that Hydro One construct phase 2 of the Waasigan transmission line, extending from Atikokan to Dryden.
The IESO says the Northwest needs the additional electrical capacity as soon as possible. Carl Langdon has the story.
The IESO's recommendation that the construction of the Waasigan transmission lines Phase 2 begin by 2025 is the green light that Hydro One has been waiting for. The recommendation follows the IESO's forecasted future demand for electricity in Northern Ontario, largely driven by projected demands from the mining sector.
With respect to Phase 2, today's announcement is fantastic news because it gives us the green light and the clarity on the expectations of when Phase 2 is to be brought into service.
What we're forecasting is that demand for electricity in the west of Thunder Bay region will be increasing due to development of new mines, expansion of existing mines, and electrification of mining activity. So this is the reason we've recommended the Waasigan transmission line to supply that growing demand for electricity.
According to Karen Akaran, the utility plans to commence the construction of Phase 2 between Atikokan and Dryden as soon as possible after Phase 1 between Shunya and Atikokan is energized sometime in 2025. When asked whether the opposition by the neighbors on the line group in Kaministiquia has or will impact the scheduled construction of Phase 1, Karen Akaran and Ahmed both say Hydro One's timeframes should remain the same.
There are things that occur on projects which we'll continually sort of monitor and update on forecasts, but the plans right now are to bring the project in within the requested timeframe.
I don't believe it will impact the in-service date, but that's more of a question for Hydro One, since they're the ones ultimately responsible for implementing this recommendation and developing and constructing the line.
Karen Akaran says the public should expect the release of a drafted version of the line's environmental assessment report sometime in the coming weeks. Hydro One's prior decision to stick with their preliminary preferred route was largely justified by referring to figures contained in the unreleased report.
We're on track for releasing a draft environmental assessment in the coming weeks. That'll be out for a public review and comment period. We're planning on filing for a leave to construct in the middle of this year, all pointing towards activities commencing with construction in 2024 to enable that in-servicing of the asset as close to the end of 2025 as possible.
Following the release of the report, Hydro One is planning for a question and review period, where community members will be given an opportunity to voice their concerns. Carl Langdon, TBT News.